Preface. The quest for life's meaning and purpose has always been a part of human existence, both philosophically and psychologically. For thousands of years, man has always been intrigued and inspired by the whence, why, and how questions, the temporal limitation of his existence, the fear of death, and the uncertainty of what comes after death. The ancient Vedic Sanatana Dharma is a time-tested path that seekers could follow in their search for truth. Among the vast library of numerous scriptures related to the Vedic Sanatana Dharma, the Prasthanatrayi, or the three main scriptures, are considered to be canonical texts, particularly of the different schools of Vedanta. They are the Upanishads, the Brahma Sutras, the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. The Srimad Bhagavad Gita is the part containing sections 25 through 42 of the sixth book known as the Bhishma Parva of the great Mahabharata. This scripture, with 700 shlokas in 18 chapters, is revered as the essence of the Vedas. It brings a new experience to a seeker every time they read it. A seeker will anyway need to read the Bhagavad Gita multiple times in their life, listen to spiritual teachers explaining the shlokas, and discuss with other seekers. But it would be greatly useful and fruitful if the seeker knew at least the fundamental principles and highlights of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita before delving deeper into it. Ignoring this simple step, many people postpone studying it to a much later age, assuming that that is when such deep philosophy would be comprehensible. There are others who straight away go for discussions or courses that are complex and hard to follow, thus being discouraged, resulting in their loss of interest. This book is intended for all, and more importantly, for children and youth, to help them capture the essence of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita and the fundamental principles of Vedanta that can shape their entire personality. Those who read the short book can acquire a rather clear understanding of the divine principle of the all-pervading Brahman. Such an understanding is sure to protect them from becoming victims of organized religions and cults that mentally enfeeble and enslave people by giving them feelings of inadequacy or of having been a sinner in the past with no chances of redemption without the help of a holy person of that particular religion. Krishna, the mentor and charioteer of Arjuna in the Battle of Kurukshetra, teaches him the principles of righteous living, which include performing one's duty with complete dedication, taking on social responsibility, and not being attached to the outcome of one's work. He explains to Arjuna various aspects of life and methods of resolving conflicts and incongruities people face in trying to find a balance between their spirituality and worldly pursuits in a highly materialistic and individualistic society. Unlike the religious books of organized religions of the world, the Srimad Bhagavad Gita does not contain commandments or any other mandatory requirements to be a follower of the Vedic Dharma. Krishna explains clearly, elaborately, and vividly the laws of nature, such as infinity, the cyclical nature of existence and non-existence, continuity of space and time dilation, the three types of material nature, and the distinction between the body, senses, mind, and intellect. Towards the end of his discourse in Shloka 1863, Krishna asks Arjuna to use the knowledge he has gained from his discourse to reflect on it and to act as per his own wish. Everyone is free to make his or her own choices. It is important to note that the principle of yoga taught by Krishna is not a blind belief system that demands obedience or subservience to any divine being, book, or dogma. But the knowledge of yoga can greatly help people in staying on the path of righteousness and enable them to comfortably succeed in achieving their spiritual as well as their worldly goals that are upright. Vedanta is the final goal, pinnacle, or the end of the Vedas. Its very basis is reason and logical deduction. Since it is not an ideology or code of belief, people may interpret it as per their own samskaras or inherent nature based on their karmic impressions with the aim of deriving spiritual bliss, peace, and fulfillment in life. Nonetheless, it is imperative not to compromise on the core principles of the Vedic dharma in order to prevent the emergence, existence, or growth of subsects with highly divisive powers that weaken the Vedic dharmic society, thus allowing asuric or demoniacal forces in the form of brain-numbing organized religions to flourish. Strong emotions, which are products of desire from an uncontrolled and untrained mind, are the ones that mainly cause anger, dejection, and frustration. They can mislead even wise and well-educated people. A person with a balanced mind is called a sthitaprajna. Such a person treats alike pleasure and pain, gain and loss, as well as victory and defeat, and knows that there is nothing permanent except for the supreme truth, and hence it makes no sense to worry, be upset, or feel sad. Every moment of life is worth celebrating because life is full of joy, and it offers everyone the opportunity to learn from it. By grasping the knowledge of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, people begin to see that no God, no deity, or no planet does anything to them, but rather that each individual is directly responsible for everything that happens to them in life. It is because everything that happens is a result of the karmic reactions of their thoughts, words, or actions, and therefore starting with purifying one's own mind would be the wisest thing to do. Vedanta's rational philosophy guards people against the detrimental habit of self-pity, which can debilitate them, causing them to feel under an evil spell, unlucky, or even believe they are being tested by God. Having an in-depth understanding of the cause and effect principle and the gunas can automatically remove all troubles from a seeker's mind by leading them to learn to come to terms with situations, at least temporarily. Doing so can give them sufficient time to think intelligently rather than emotionally. This leads people to good health, peace, happiness, and high-end energy in whatever they do. My life thus far has been full of rich experiences, adventures, and spiritual enrichment. With an inherent attitude of infinite gratitude, being filled with amazement for everything about life and nature, and thanks to my modest knowledge of Vedanta, I celebrate every moment of life. Moreover, the near fatal accidents that I had in the past taught me to always be prepared for anything, thus eliminating anxiety, stress, and carelessness that might otherwise result from either fear or even from overconfidence. In addition to saving my life in those accidents, my karma has given me more time with wonderful friends, both human and animal, for which I am deeply thankful. I am convinced that the habit of taking time to appreciate every moment of life, every meal, every new person one meets, every book one reads, or every beautiful creation of nature that one is blessed to witness adds tremendous color, joy, and bliss to life. A person who is enlightened by the knowledge of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita is at peace, even when facing severe challenges, since they possess the ability to manage and control their mind, which helps them perceive and react to situations rationally and intelligently. Anyone with such a mental disposition not only has the ability to use their mind for great achievements, but is also mentally invincible and remains protected from those who make a living out of the mental and spiritual weaknesses of others. The one who has learned to live life in a wise and intelligent manner ceases to be troubled by feelings such as dissatisfaction, sadness, angst, hostility, and restlessness. It should not be forgotten that it is in the mind where all thoughts and experiences are perceived or conceived, and therefore a wise course of action would be to work on the mind before spending time and energy elsewhere. Studying the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, which I refer to as the greatest mind management manual ever, is a great journey to discover one's own divinity and immense potential, and to learn the art of mastering one's own mind. A seeker who reads this divine scripture invariably emerges a stronger, more courageous, more efficient, and more empowered individual. Thank you. Jai Shri Krishna.